bullshit.
Oh my, let's just do breaking news. No more bullshit. No more bullshit.
No bullshit.
All right. Wow, we're here all by ourselves, Mark.
Oh, man, it's like the kids are gone.
I know, like the parents are gone. Thank you so much. This is Karen Dumas and the great Mark Fehlhauer. We are holding it down for Charlie LeDuff today, who is with his family. We certainly extend our support, our condolences, our prayers, and he will update you when he returns with us next week. We've got a great show lined up for you, as always. We're going to talk to congressional candidate John James II. That is going to be interesting. John's a good guy, and we want to know who he is and what he is doing. And we got a ton of other things that we got to tackle. It's a lot going on, Mark.
Too much. I'm overwhelmed already.
All right. Well, let's get right to it. We want to respect John's time frame. So, John, are you with us?
I am, and glad to be here. How's everybody doing?
Hey, we're doing great. John, meet Mark. Mark, meet John.
Hi, John. How are you?
Mark, I'm doing great. Great.
A lot of questions for you. I hope you're ready.
Fire away.
Hey, he's all fire away. That's the military in him. But,
Yeah.
John, I really want to, first of all, thank you for taking time out of what I know is a busy schedule, because a lot of people, they see you, they hear about you. But let me ask you first and foremost, who is John James?
Well, I'm a child of God. I'm a man who's been saved by grace through his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. After that, I try to work past though I'm a sinner, to do everything I can to bring glory to Him and love my neighbor as myself. I try to be the best father I can be, the best husband I can be, the best son I can be. I'm a combat veteran. I'm a businessman in the city of Detroit. I'm proud to say that I was raised by a pair of Democrats from the Jim Crow South who raised me with the values of faith and family, God and country, and service before self, and you got to walk the walk. I also believe very, very strongly that we need to use our blessings to be blessings to others. So I'm excited for the opportunity the future holds, and I'm excited to bring as many people along with me as possible.
John, you seem like a very nice guy based on the ads and everything. Is there the one thing I've heard people say is that what's behind the veneer? What is behind John James? There's got to be, that answer is a political answer. So what is behind him? What's the meat behind John James?
Well, you know what? This is probably the root of one of my wife's greatest disappointments is what you see is what you get.
Don't say that to a potential voter, John.
What you see is what you get. I mean, I'm a pretty straightforward guy. I don't have any skeletons in the closet. Maybe some clothes on the floor, but there's nothing to hide. I ultimately, I'm unapologetic about my faith and about my sinful nature, and I'm unapologetic about why I'm here. Is to do everything I can to serve. Service before self isn't just a buzzword. It's not just a term. It's how I've lived my life. It's why I went in the military in the first place. It's why I served. And it's why I'm so frustrated with the way that things are. It's why I'm frustrated there are still parts of Detroit that look no better than they did when I grew up and my father was dropping me off at Burton International in the Cass Corridor, Cass and Peterborough. That's why I'm so frustrated that what Charlie says, and again, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention his family. My condolences to him and prayers to his family. But he says that fix this stuff in so many words. And I'm just frustrated by both parties that are putting re-election above the people, driving us apart. And Democrats and Republicans both have failed. And when it comes to bringing relief and bringing solutions, people talk about bipartisanship as a buzzword. In my military career, my business career, it's always been about nonpartisan solutions and working with anybody and everybody to fix this stuff. And I'm channeling my frustration. I'm channeling my utter fatigue with the political toxicity into doing what's best to serve my country, serve my state, and serve my community.
There it is. There's the fire. I mean that's what I was talking about. Where's the fire?
And that's what seems to be missing. Like, are you struggling between trying to make sure people understand that you are a nice guy and really showing, a level of fire and anger and disappointment with whatever and whomever in your public presentation?
Honestly, guys, all I can do is be me. There are some people who call me nice, but there are people who lie, cheat, and steal in my life who've separated from my personal and my professional life who wouldn't call me nice. There are people who were in Iraq who were attempting to take the lives of innocents who wouldn't call me nice. I've been in a fight, and I recognize that fighting shouldn't be your knee-jerk reaction. And folks talking about fighting most often haven't been punched in the face. There's a time and a place, and most often having the leadership qualities to bring stability, to bring unity, and to bring results rarely require aggression. Most oftentimes it requires compassion, empathy, and understanding, but recognizing you have to have the strength of your convictions behind you in order to get things done and have people follow you. You have to have somebody who's willing to represent and able to represent, have the firsthand experience to know what to do when they get there. So whether you're nice or whether you're mean, apply it as required, and recognize that the ultimate goal is to bring glory to God and serve His people.
Do you think that description defines the President of the United States, Donald Trump?
Well, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder there. But I will tell you that the focus here is everybody wants to talk about Trump. And what I try and tell people is, look, the problems that ail us, the socioeconomic immobility, the financial anxiety, these are things that that preceded Trump and will succeed him unless we get our acts together, unless we prioritize the needs of our community and our people. Look, Trump's either got 4 more months or 4 more years. Either way, we can't continue to lurch from crisis to crisis. That's no way to live. And fixating on a temporary, term-limited president is not how we get our people, all of our people, to a better and a higher plane. That's what I'm talking about.
You sound like you want to win, John.
Look, I just want to serve. Look, I just want to help people because, look, Karen, the most selfish thing for me to do would be to stay in Detroit and watch my business and my family grow. The most selfish thing for me to do would be to do nothing. But it breaks my heart, and so I'm running with a broken heart, and I just want to help people.
All right, let me ask you this too, John, because your family has a very well recognized and respected history and name here in the community, and especially in the business and the African American community. Outside of Wayne Bradley II, there are some Black Republicans. What? Don't tell them I said that.
Wait, all 3 of them?
Yeah, all 3 of them. But what has it been a challenge to resonate or connect with the African American community? Like I said, and I've shared this with you, I think a lot of people would recognize and appreciate just the historical relevance and value that you bring. What has this been a challenge? And I say that because I don't see any Black people in your commercials, and I'm just trying to figure out, is that an issue, or is that not an audience that you're targeting?
Well, I'll tell you, thank you for that question. First of all, if you know any Black people who would be willing to be in my commercials, please get with me after the break, and I'd love to bring them in. Because here's the reality of the fact is there's most Black folks are scared to be associated with somebody stepping outside of the status quo. It's very uncomfortable to be a Black Republican, especially in the age of Trump. But I am I'm not a Republican because the Republican Party is perfect. Far from it. I'm a Republican because the platform aligns most closely with my economic and moral values. And the best way to fix things are not from outside screaming against the wall and banging against the door, but it's by getting inside and making sure that every voice is represented, that everybody is represented. Nobody is marginalized or stereotyped or silenced. See, here's the thing. I come from, and you heard that, Karen, you mentioned my roots. My father was born, again, in the Jim Crow South, born in 1941. He lived directly across the street from Mississippi State University and couldn't go there because he was Black. And even though he was in a vulnerable situation in the Deep South, he refused to be a victim in his own country. He was taught that the United States of America was his birthright, too. And as one of 9 children, he worked his way out through the Black Vocational College in Mississippi. He fought honorably in Vietnam and came back, got a job at Chrysler, and started a business hauling beer back and forth between Detroit and Milwaukee. And he raised a son in Detroit, in Sevenum, Illinois. I started at Burton International in the Cass Corridor, put me in Jack and Jill, attended Hartford Memorial Baptist Church led by Charles G. Adams. I served my country, and as soon as I got back, I joined Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I joined James Group and kept this business in Detroit, employing Detroiters when it would have been easier to leave, to quit during the Great Recession. I'm on the board of Jalen Rose Leadership Academy in Detroit and on Mayor Duggan's Workforce Development Board. And Michigan Chronicle recognized me in 40 Under 40 just a couple years ago. But I've also had my car ripped up in Charles H. Wright Museum. I've had my car keyed outside of a Black church in Detroit. I've been mocked in the church that I grew up in. I've had town halls with members of the Divine Nine in Metro Detroit and had that leaked. I've had town halls with Michigan Minority Supplier Development Council because I recognize that entrepreneurship is the way that we create generational wealth and we take our people to a higher plane. Every time I talk to my people, Karen, I don't bring a camera. Unlike Senator Peters, who is the 14th Congressional District Congressman, and most folks can't put a finger on a thing he's done except run as a Democrat. So here's the thing. I'm not just running against Gary Peters. I'm running against an image of what somebody thinks I should be. And if I don't fit that image, then I'm an enemy. And so I reject that out of hand. And I recognize that Jesus was crucified by we, who he came to save. Who the heck am I? If I call myself a Christian, though I am a sinner, then I have to try to follow the model that he created, to try to meet people where they are, to do my very best to help them with the blessings that I've received, which is why I made a commitment, a promise, a nickel promise when I see all the money that's in politics. And yes, we have to raise money to get the truth out, because it was just reported in the Detroit Free Press last week that folks have been lying about me on health care for over a year. We had to raise money to get the truth out, but we also can do good while we're doing well, Karen. We can also take a nickel for every dollar that we raise and use it to help heal the sick, to help feed the hungry, to help clothe the naked, to help take care of our veterans. And as of right now, because of the grace of God and the generosity of people all over Michigan and all over the country, we've raised over $1 million to do exactly that. Name me a political campaign that's doing that. We were able to give $200,000 to Central City Integrated Health right in Detroit, $200,000 to get extra testing and PPE into the city of Detroit when this pandemic was hurting our community more than most other countries. And we were able to get help right to Detroit. And so that's what I'm talking about. Charlie talks about fixing this stuff. Well, I'm talking about fixing this stuff. I'm talking about delivering on my promises. I'm talking about doing things that are inconvenient to help people who have no hope, who have no future, and who need a leader to execute right now. And right now we're not getting it.
Fair or unfair, when your name is brought up, it will be Black Republican. That's just the matter, and just the way things work right now. To that point,
is that okay with you?
Oh, it's
what
what you are. I mean,
do we describe Gary Peters as white Democrat?
No,
and
not at all.
Exactly.
That's why I said.
Why? See, what I'm saying is, why do we tolerate that? As Black people, as people, why do we tolerate that? Why do we let the conversation keep going when you minimize an entire legacy and an entire story, and minimize it, dehumanize somebody by reducing them to their party and their skin color? Why do we put up with it?
Well, and I do think that just it's a, however, as Mark said, fair or unfair, it is a categorization that people tend to do. And like I said earlier on, people tend to associate Black people with the Democratic Party. So when they do refer to a Republican who is also Black, that becomes the categorization. I don't think it diminishes who you are or what you bring to the table at all.
And actually, I loved the video you made, the response to one of Biden's biggest gaffes when he was on the Breakfast Club, saying that if you're not Black, which I'm a little uncomfortable with a little white guy telling somebody who's Black.
Everybody has, I mean, everybody's screwed up. If we literally went through what everybody said, I found an interview of Joe Biden from back like in '93 when he was calling Black people savages. Yeah. People don't do their homework, so I mean, we could all find something on somebody. Are you writing that down, John? Or are you going to go look for that? Because you don't have enough attack ads. I'm not giving you any of that. I'm saying that everybody has done or said something that someone else can pull up and use either for or against them. Yeah. Everybody. So what were you going to say, John? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that he who's without sin cast the first stone. Everybody's made a gaffe. Everybody's made a mistake. But that's why I spoke on that moment, Mark, that you mentioned. I made a comment about how that comment has hurt me. I've talked about how that was disrespectful to people in the community. So many people have died for Black folks to have the ability to think and vote for ourselves and to say the silent part out loud that the reason he's even on that podium, he felt like he was owed. I feel like, maybe I feel like in the Democratic Party, the only ones progressing seem to be folks who look like Joe Biden. And
Well,
I feel like we're not.
And let's not get off track a little bit, because I know you only have a limited amount of time, John, and I want to. Again, I'm watching some of the Facebook comments. People are glad to hear some of the conversation. Some lady said that she had this same conversation with you last week. But for those who don't have the privilege of a one-on-one conversation or even in a group, I want them to be able to come away with something one way or the other, because we hear a lot of people say they just don't know who you are. If in fact, Mark, you wanted to ask about the two races. Do you want to get that before John?
Oh, yeah. What is the difference between running against Debbie Stabenow like you did 2 years ago and now Gary Peters, or is that all the same in your mind?
Well, I think the time now is people are taking Michigan a lot more seriously now. People are taking me a lot more seriously now. I think that before it was assumed that Senator Stabenow was going to win. And I think that right now, because this is really shaping up, the status quo doesn't work for us anymore. And I think this year is going to be a challenger's race. I've outraised Senator Peters 4 quarters in a row.
What?
The last quarter, yeah, and the last time we didn't have those types of resources. So
I just want to ask you this, because that's it. There's a lot of political speak in here, which can be a little exhausting. What can a first-term senator do for the state of Michigan? What could you legitimately, tangibly do for the state when you get in there?
Oh my gosh! Thank you for asking that question. On day one, I bring something that my opponent cannot bring.
And what is that?
I can guarantee you that we will have a friend on both sides of the aisle. I can guarantee you.
But John, let me stop you for 1 second. Everybody says that. I mean, in terms of working bipartisan, but this becomes a challenge for everybody, and I'm sure this is nothing for you. The process, when everybody goes in on the pretense that they're going to make a difference for the people that put them there, I get that. I respect that. But there's a process that's set up that almost makes it difficult, if not impossible.
It's the game. It's not the player.
Exactly. And it's the process, not progress. What can you do? I guess maybe that's even a more realistic question to circumvent what I know is institutional opposition for really getting any, because we were talking about John Lewis's service and all the information that came out about him, and how he recently said he's been fighting this fight for 50 years. We're still having the same conversation for generations. What has really changed? So for you to implement an institutional change, what realistically can you do?
So here's the thing. Here's the truth. I'm not going to be able to do it all. But the reason why I mentioned Senator Stabenow is because she may be able to open doors that I can't. And I may be able to open doors that she can't. Michigan being in a position to open those doors that are currently being shut in the Senate because we don't have somebody on the inside is how you get things done in the real world. Having a Democrat and a Republican senator, having a male and female, millennial or boomer, a black and a white, that is how you make sure that no matter what corner you're in, you have a voice.
So you will work with Debbie Stabenow?
I'll work, of course. Are you kidding me? I'll have a meeting with Debbie Stabenow every week, because I will assume that woman loves this state as much as I do. And we may have different methods, but if we can agree on just one thing and get that done, see, that's how you get things done. Right now, we don't have anybody on the inside. People like to talk about bipartisanship, but that's a buzzword that you correctly identified doesn't work in the real world. Unless you have somebody working for you on the inside, it doesn't get through. And so if there's something that's good for Michigan, or good for our Detroit community, and Debbie Stabenow can get it done, I'll put her name on it and let her take it to Chuck Schumer. I don't care. If there's something that's good for Michigan and Republicans are in charge, I'll put my name on it and put it through. I'll give her the credit. I don't care. I'm not planning on being a career politician. I'm planning on doing my time, coming back and watching my kids play soccer. So I want to serve as long as the people of the state of Michigan and the good Lord let me. And that answer is actually how you fix this stuff. making sure.
Oh,
that
go
you
ahead
have
and
a
curse,
friend
John.
that you
I want to hear you say
Yeah,
the
say
word.
it.
Say the word.
No, look. And we need to keep this rated PG, or my mama give me a spank.
Hey, it's not. You're
the
late for
president would
that.
say it.
It's not PG. Go ahead, Mark. You
I
wanted
just
to
I
ask-
wanted to add, because your faith is incredibly important to you. Do you see what is your opinion on President Trump and his faith? Do you see him as being a faithful, a godly man?
All right, so I am never in a position to comment on someone's relationship with the Lord. That's between them and God. I can tell you about my faith, and I can tell you that I'm an imperfect sinner, and I'm doing my best to ask for the Lord's forgiveness each and every single day, and to do my best to make Him proud. So that's all I'm going to comment on that.
All right. Well, John, we know that you're on a time limit today. So before you go, if there's one thing that people that are watching or will listen to this podcast and your interview, what's the one thing you want them to take away when they say, oh, I heard John James, and now I know that he, what? Fill in the blank.
That he cares more about obedience than convenience, and that he cares about putting service before self. I'm looking forward to bringing glory to God and to fixing this stuff, not just for our kids now, but for future generations.
Well,
Thank
John,
you.
I appreciate you taking time. We'll have to have you come back again, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right,
Take
John.
care, guys.
Take care. You too. Bye-bye. So after quite a while, because Charlie and I have been trying to get John on the show, let me also say that we do recognize equal time and fairness. We did extend the invitation to Gary Peters, heard back from one of his staff members, and the other one is checking into his schedule. So if we hear back from him, we'll certainly have him on the show and talk to him as well. But Charlie has been trying to get John, as have I, on the show to talk sometime. So we certainly appreciate him and his team making it possible. Not sure if Mark, if you came away with anything different,
Yeah, no, I did. It was nice to hear him fired up. I think I told you before the show, I wish he'd had more negative attack ads because they work.
But he doesn't want to say the SHIT word, so
I know.
he may not want to do that. But you did hear a fire in him that you don't necessarily see. Now, let me say this.
My fear is that it's just another politician.
Who's not, though?
No, I know Gary Peters is, Stabenow is.
I
I
mean,
couldn't tell you anything about them either.
And a couple people have said, like, what have they done?
Nothing.
And I do believe that people go in with the same level of sincerity, interest, commitment, and compassion that you hear from John and anybody entering the political arena.
I think they're sincere, but this
But
is
you
where
get there.
this is where my apathy sets in.
But
It's
you
like,
get there, and you find that, to me, change is almost impossible. We've been having the same conversations for generations, but because we've had same conversations, there are some things that don't change. I think we probably need to get some of our ads out of the way.
I was going to say,
You
American
wanna-
Coney Island hasn't changed.
No,
How's
they
that for a
haven't.
segue?
I guess that was good. I was thinking Hall Financial, but we're not as smooth as Charlie. But hey, we're talking politics, we're talking America, we're talking Detroit, and when you say American Coney Island, you say Detroit. I don't think anything says more Detroit than that. American Coney Island is Detroit's oldest family-run restaurant and the birthplace of the famous Detroit Coney dog with chili mustard and Vidalia onions. Downtown at the corner of Lafayette and Michigan Avenue, you can't miss it. It's the red, white, and blue building shaped like a slice of pie. And hey, they've got that too. They make it fresh daily. The Coney Kit just sent a couple people some. Thank you, Grace. A dozen dogs with all the fixings right to your door for the game time or your party. Go to that has to be socially distanced. Don't forget that. Go to AmericanConeyIsland.com. Always delicious, always clean. And I'm going to stick my own little 2 cents in here. I love Grace.
Yeah.
Grace is the consummate business person and friend. So when you have a good person that does good business, to me, that's reason enough to always patronize them. So love you, Grace, and thank you for being
She's been
who you
a
are.
good partner to this show as well. The only thing that
person.
is changing with Hall Financial is that mortgage rates are at an all-time low.
Yeah, and they're continuing to fall.
That's why I know.
They fell today.
That's why, exactly. And I can't believe there's still people out there that have not refinanced because you can lower those monthly payments, get money in your pocket, good value. So check them out. They can do virtual appraisals too. So they can socially distance. No one will step foot in your house. So you can make money by saving money and you can live how you want. Do it by going to davidhallmortgage.com on Hall Financial. You can call them 248-308-5000. Super easy to work with. And NMLS number 1467435. Let them know that Charlie said there's a call coming in. I don't know who that is.
says private.
I know. I'm not going to answer
I
that.
don't know. That sounds scary. But
I'm
hey,
worried that Charlie's going to call in and tell me to turn off the TV because
shh, don't tell Charlie. You know, he hates when we have
I know. For the
television
first time, I didn't get yelled at for
we're
having
here-
CNN or
We're here by ourselves, so we can watch
CNBC.
television.
I know.
But
Yeah,
don't tell
CNBC.
Charlie. But hey, since you're talking money, why don't you go and do Luke?
Oh, you do Luke,
Let's get
all right.
because I mean, you know, again, we've been talking even before the COVID, even before the recession. We have been telling people to get their money in order. If you don't know how, here's how.
Yeah, call our buddy Luke Nowacki, Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748. You know what he gives you? Rational financial advice. None of this CNBC stuff that's on the TV here. Stocks or bonds? What do you do with your 401k? Do you have a college saving plan for your kid? All that. Get a strategy. Get advice. Now is the time to do it. Call Luke, Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associated Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Royal Alliance Associates Incorporated is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, and services rendered here are independent of Royal Alliance Associates. Oh, wait.
Don't you have a disclaimer?
I just read it.
Oh, you just read it. I wanted to hear some music, but hey,
Hello?
Patty P. I didn't mean it like that when I said go do Luke. We had somebody comment and said, "What do you mean sending Mark to do Luke?" We didn't mean it like that. We meant go and do the Luke commercial. So, I don't know who are you talking to, Mark. You know this is live.
Phones ring. It's crazy. It was Charlie.
Was it?
I told him to call back. I want to know if I wonder if you had an assessment.
You told him to call back. How do you tell him to call back? But anyway, he will. But you know what? I do want to say this. There's been a lot going on. We're going to talk about some of those things. As Charlie always reminds us, this is not for chit-chat. This is for news. Certainly laid to rest the great Congressman John Lewis. And as I was sharing with Mark, as much as I thought I knew about who he was and what he did, I learned a lot. So, I don't see that passion, that commitment in public service anymore that people now call elected office. Charlie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm drinking.
Are we in trouble?
Drinking? Are we in trouble?
Yeah. No, we're not in trouble. I'm just calling to say hey.
I said,
checking in, see how it's going.
are we in trouble? Have you been listening?
No, we just got done burying my brother.
Okay. Well, our condolences,
condolences,
Charlie.
yeah, man.
And John James sends his condolences as well, as do a lot of people that are commenting on Facebook Live. So we're there with you.
Just remember something, and I'll get off here because we got the bagpipers here and the lawyer and the eulogy giver. Hold on, boys. I'm on with the show here. Just remember something. This is what became apparent to me today. Love one another. The meaning of your life is those that you touch. And if they speak of you when you're gone, you've never gone away. Remember that. Don't be alone. If you feel lonely, call somebody. So I just wanted to say, I love you both. Everybody listening, stay together. Right? What was it about? What did the priest say about despair? Love means you have to work. Despair means you quit. Don't despair.
Love means you have to work. Despair means you've quit.
Yeah, don't despair.
Okay.
Keep working, right?
Good words.
We will, Charlie.
Okay, listen, I love you. How's it going? You enjoying it, Karen?
Sure, Mark and I are having fun. We've got the television on too.
Fuck you guys.
All right, love you too, Charlie.
All right.
Take care.
All right,
Give
have
our
an
best to
excellent
everybody.
weekend.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. You know what? I have to say this, and I say this all the time. I say it to Charlie because I think it's important, just as he said, love one another. But I think it's very important for people to know how you feel about them. I am not a funeral person. I'm not one for posting on Facebook about how I felt about somebody and posting a picture. You have to tell people, Charlie is a good person. I mean, he's got a good heart. He and I don't always agree, but I respect Charlie and what he brings to the table, not only professionally, but personally. Over the years, he and his family have become good friends. And I like who he is and I like what he does. I like the sincerity of the commitment that he has behind the show and everything that he does.
And I'm not going to steal his thunder, but he had another wonderful column on Deadline Detroit today. And I was talking, oh, wait, I think he's back. Uh-oh.
He can't stay away.
He's back. Hang on.
Charlie said he's going to leave us alone, but he's not.
Hey,
in trouble?
can I request a song?
Yes, sure. What's the song?
Tribe Called Quest. I left my wallet in El Segundo.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Totally
Bye.
random, but I love
Hey,
it.
this is not a radio station you call.
Fuck yes, it is.
Yeah, well, okay, if you say it is, but
Oh,
hey, we have no prizes. We can leave you a case of beer though. I see some beer
Give
sitting down
him
there.
a freaking shirt. Fix the shit.
Yeah, Al, well, we're gonna do that too, Charlie. Thank you.
Oh, and by the way, you know what
Yes.
I learned? I realized
What?
if it's too much for your kids to wear, you can take a ink, a Sharpie, some black tape, and if you stretch it across, you can actually make fix the shit. Just say fix it.
Oh, okay.
Think about that.
Fix it. I
pretty
like that
deep.
too. Okay. Hey, I still got to get my shirt.
Man, guess what? These bagpipers
Yeah.
Yes.
at the funeral are strapping.
Really?
Doc, what's the weapon you got there? What's your weapon? Is that a 40 cal? Yeah, it's a.
So they've got a
it's military
bagpipe on
police
one
40.
hip.
It's what I got.
They've got a bagpipe on one hip and a weapon on the other.
He got some drum. He not wearing. Are you wearing underpants?
He better not be, right?
Let me see it. I'll tweet it in.
Charlie,
Great.
are you looking under his
Jesus.
kilt?
Oh, holy crap. You know what? He's so old.
How old is
And
he?
he's not wearing underwear. He's so old
That's
that
gross. I don't wanna
got
hear
he's got his testicles
Charlie.
tied up like a man bun with a fucking rubber band.
Charlie.
You're welcome, Doc. Well, hey, I thought my mom would be into him. Nah.
Maybe that's a good thing.
No, your mom has good taste.
Hey, Doc. Well, Doc's a good friend. Hey, Doc, what'd you think of my mom? What'd you think of my mom? Fantastic. Would you date her?
What a great
lady. Would you date her? You know, maybe take her out to dinner? Absolutely. Fuck you fucking pervert.
There's no wait. There's no good answer to a son saying, "What did you think of my mom?"
Especially
My
after you
mom's a
talked about
virgin.
his testicles.
My mother's a virgin. She went to church, asked God, made me a virgin. You know what?
This show has taken a turn.
I know, as we knew it would be.
All right, see you later.
All right, brother.
All right, see ya. Okay, let's do the countdown to the next call. But in the meantime, you were talking about the Deadline Detroit piece that Charlie did on the cereal
Yeah,
house.
he was down there. It's Mac and Mount Elliott. You told me you drive by.
I drive by it all the time, and I see people sleeping on the porch. I mean, the house has not been torn down as promised some time ago. So,
It was a lot quicker than I thought.
is that Charlie again?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to play the song, though, right?
Charlie!
No.
Yes!
I'm going to tell you I'm playing it. Yeah, you'll have to download it later.
Yeah,
and
you've got to
listen.
listen.
Oh, listen, go to the Drew and Mike store.com.
Yes.
Get your T-shirt. Fix the shit. Here goes the kids. Kids
Beautiful.
need our help. I'll leave it at that. I promise I won't call again.
It's your show, Charlie. You can call as many
Yeah.
times
It's
as you
our
want.
show, Karen.
All right.
Hey, way to go. By the way, what a get. That's John James' first interview.
Yeah, we got it.
First.
And he sent me a text message and said it was fun. He appreciated
Okay.
it. Yeah. So, people always think that we're trying to attack, or we're not going to attack somebody. We're not going to support somebody. We're going to have a conversation so people can see who you are and what you bring to the table.
Yeah, we're going to ask the question.
Yep, that's it. And Mark did a great job. We held. I hope we held it down for you.
Hey, one thing before you go, Charlie.
Yeah.
Get that bagpiper some manscaping too, okay? For next
Oh,
person.
hey, listen, hold on. Hey, Doc. I have for you
No,
a
Charlie.
manscaping kit. What do you think?
What do you think?
What? I got a manscaping kit for you.
Do I need a manscaping kit?
You need fucking surgery.
Oh,
You need some of the elephant skin taken away.
That is disgusting, Charlie.
Karen, you're married. Get used to it.
I don't care. I'm trying to class this joint up. Come on.
He said a guy's got a two-hander. Why would you want to shave that? I'm like, because they're your balls.
Charlie.
hold on.
I would like to remind people that he is at a service.
He is at a service.
Funeral service.
Hey, we're taking my brother out.
I see.
I know.
Man, fuck all y'all, man. That's
do-
what we do.
That's what you
That's
should
what we
do,
do.
Charlie.
It's
Bagpipes and guns and liquor and women crying, and the priest was brilliant, and mystery. That's what we do. We love ours.
And you
Never to
should.
be forgotten.
You should.
Are you awake, Mark?
Yeah, no, I
Mark is into it. We're having a good time.
Okay. Hey, Doc, so listen, before I let him go, you want to check out manscaped.com?
We can scratch that off the list.
Yeah, why not?
Hey! All right. It's used.
That's been done.
It's used. Okay, talk to you again.
all right.
All right,
And
bye,
if anybody
Charlie.
else wants to check out manscaped.com, you can get 20% off and free shipping right now. Use promo code Charlie at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, free shipping. You do it at the end. You can get all kinds of fun items. I'm sure, Karen, you've been to the site many times.
So you're not going to stand up and shave your chest, are you?
No. It's
Okay.
in,
Well,
it's in
before
need of
we get
shaving.
any
I
more-
shaving. I won't do that to you, though.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Charlie did that last week, and I still have nightmares.
Scars, yeah.
Before we get distracted or interrupted again, and I certainly don't mean that in a negative way, Charlie has a right to celebrate, and we certainly appreciate him calling in because it's not the same without him. Let me get in the information about ADR that we always share every week, not because we have to, but because ADR is experienced. They oversee more than $250 million in private and public construction projects since 2001. ADR is competent. They reduce your costs, increase your bottom line. They've saved clients millions of dollars. Their consultants are experts in procurement and government compliance and information technology. ADR is honest, ethical, and smart. You can call Barry Ellentuck at 248-318-9424 for a consultation. You can get the job done right, on time, on budget. ADR Consultants, Barry Ellentuck, 248-318-9424. All right, so check out Deadline Detroit, Charlie's latest article, as Mark was telling us about the serial killer house. Maybe Charlie will do a rant for us next week. If not on that, it'll be on something else. Want to certainly bring up the little confusing, Mark, the governor's closing restaurant and bars down, but opening up casinos.
Has she had an order in the time of COVID that wasn't confusing?
I don't know. And, I have to say this, though. I think that part of the challenge has been a lack of a federal mandate for protocol, and that it's been left to municipalities or states to determine, because I see people walking around, people don't even know what to do. They wear
fair.
gloves. They don't realize they're cross-contaminating. They have their masks, but they're not covering their nose. Everybody's just it's you figure it out. So I think that has also contributed to a little of the breakdown in just some consistency. But how do you open up
Her messaging has been
it's
pretty confusing in my mind.
It has been, and I'd also think it's almost disingenuous. I mean, but how do you close a restaurant and bar, but you open a casino?
Yeah, Detroit Casino. Well, we know why and how. I mean, that's a big revenue generator for the city of Detroit. I imagine they have a very strong lobby, which politicians will always listen to a lobby. The weird thing in my mind is that the tribal casinos have had no restrictions.
Exactly.
And we spoke to one, and they pretty much said, "Yeah, you need to wear masks, but we're full capacity, because they're not under the restrictions of the state because they are tribal land," which is it's a little silly. And that kind of goes to her point of pulling back. I forget nobody knows what the zones are, what they mean, but up north in the western UP, they've reduced capacity in bars, and people up there are very angry about it. But one of the reasons she did it is because, once again, you have this imaginary line that goes into Wisconsin, which has zero restrictions whatsoever because of the Supreme Court battle they had there.
Right.
And people from that state are going into those bars, and they're legitimately worried about it. Is it an overreach? I can listen to that argument. I mean, I'm not up there. I don't know. I don't know how bad it is up there. I don't think they're doing it for any kind of to exert any kind of strength or power. I think that's a little ludicrous.
I think people have also confused patriotism and their freedom with responsibility. I mean, I do. And people say, you can't tell me what to do. But at the same time, when people fall ill or, we went through this with seatbelts, I mean, then where does the care fall? How does it impact? It has a domino effect. So
I appreciate that argument, but there's a fancy buzzword in economics. It's called externalities.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not always about the decision you make.
That's true. Or
the other person in a transaction. It's how it affects the people around them. So it isn't about your personal liberty.
It's true.
It's about the people around you, and it's a tough balance. This country you cannot get everybody to do the same thing, and it's just going to be that way. And
I tell you what, follow my rule. I'm not going anywhere.
Well,
I'm not going to a restaurant. I'm not going to a bar.
I'm not either.
Doing it. I'm not
either. But
doing
you know
it.
what? I really want to.
I do too.
And it's
I
not because
love
I'm
eating
scared.
out.
I'm not scared of it.
Well, why don't you go?
Because I have kids and I'm around elderly people.
So you're thinking about the impact that your decision would have on others.
Yeah, and I could, I'm cheap. I don't want to spend any money.
All right, Mark, at least you're honest. I want to talk, speaking of, we're talking politics. Herman Cain, Dad.
Yeah.
COVID-19 after hanging out at the Trump rallies and really,
in Tulsa.
Certainly our condolences. But let me just say this. COVID is real. I mean, there are people that are wrangling with this. It is not a joke. It is not, it's not something that it's not a conspiracy. It is real, and people need to treat it as such.
It's going to get to the point where two of the fastest moving things that I can think where change happened in my life. One is marijuana, and everybody accepting marijuana. That's
right.
Just how fast that moved is mind-blowing.
Oh, you haven't seen anything yet.
What does that mean?
Buckle your seatbelt. We'll talk next week, but go ahead.
Whoa! I'm fascinated by that. We can do the show high.
You can. I don't smoke or drink.
The second thing is gay rights and how quick that moved. And I think it moved because people realized that, I know somebody who is gay, and when you know somebody, it kind of changes your opinion because it becomes real.
But that's what
and I think that's
everything
what's going to happen with COVID. You're going to eventually know somebody who's been hit.
You just hit the nail on the head for everything. People change their opinion and their perspectives when their proximity is reduced. So you want to talk about race relations, you want to talk about economic sympathy, you want to talk about COVID, you want to talk about LGBTQ rights, all of those things. The more familiar with them that you are, it does change because your perceptions are either validated or invalidated.
Sure.
So, but
I've known 5 people that have gotten COVID,
wow.
And after talking to them, it is not something I want to get.
Yeah, I don't want, and I don't wish that on anybody. I've heard a couple people talk about. But no, as much as I love to dine out, not doing it.
And to that point, and it wasn't as bad as I've seen in the past with things, but some people, I guess maybe gloating about the fact that Herman Cain died because
you
of
don't do that
fucking
regardless.
bullshit. It's
bullshit. I made that point, because
it's real.
Exactly, and that was the only reason.
I thought it was interesting. I've been reading up on Herman Cain how in 2012, he's running for president and he had to step down because of 4 accusations of sexual harassment against him. It's like, wow, we've come a long way to where that just doesn't matter as much in politics anymore.
I don't think anything matters in politics anymore. And
it's
I think
winning.
that's one of several things, Mark, let's try this for transition, that will impact both the primary and the general election, both next week and in November. Nancy Pelosi is accusing Trump of withholding information that would compromise the election. But let's look locally.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's politics.
This is politicking
speak.
again from her.
But and I didn't realize how old she is. She's old.
Pelosi, very old. Yeah.
She looks really patched up well.
Patched up.
She does. I mean, I was like, wow. But I really like the way she dresses. I don't want to get into that, but I do. I really like that very conservative quality look. But let's talk about local.
Yes,
So you have a president that's underfunded and attacking the Postal Service at a time when people are thinking about their health and wellness and being exposed in an actual voting environment. Mm-hmm. But now, people are, I know I've mailed things to people that they still haven't gotten, and that was maybe a month or so ago. So what will that do for voter confidence?
Oh, it's going to be, what you mean, the confidence in how legitimate the election is?
And how it's going to turn out. Like if I've mailed it, are they going to count it? I hear that, they're stuffed by hand but processed by computer. Like, what is this, 1918? Where are we?
Well, I mean, there's a level of trust in it, but there's a level of trust in everything. You go fill up your gas tank. There's a level of trust that it's being monitored by a state agency, that it's actually
really premium gas.
Is what it says it is. So there's got to be a level of trust. People are very frantic about voting, and it comes from both sides. I mean, we've already seen Trump kind of act about the illegitimacy of mail-in voting, although most research shows that it's no advantage to either political party.
Right. That's true.
And then I
He
really
wants to change the election date. which can't
He
happen
can't.
either.
That's just.
But he wants
that's noise.
to.
That's noise.
But he
though.
wants, but it's a distraction.
He might want to. He's not going to be able to.
Okay.
But it doesn't help then when Jennifer Granholm comes out and warns and just fires off a bunch of what ifs, what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. What if? I mean, you could have a what if about everything.
That's true. That
and
is
I
true,
just,
Mark.
you got to have a level of trust that it's still going to be legitimate. I mean, if you don't trust the mail, then when you get your mail-in ballot, go drop it off. You can drop it off.
That's true.
You don't have to mail it.
But locally, have people really been exposed to their options so that they know what's going on? I spoke to someone yesterday, actually in the media, that said, hey, I didn't realize I could do that in terms of dropping my ballot off.
Yeah.
So our people, our election leaders, if you will, doing what they can and have to do to make sure
It's going to
that...
be a mess.
Okay, that's it.
It's going to be a mess. But this isn't the first messy election.
I know
we've
it's
had.
not, but
look
I
at
think that people
Florida
are...
in 2000.
Well,
That's the
yeah.
gold standard of an
So
election
is that
mess.
becoming normalized? In terms of just we don't expect a flaw. I don't even think we should
Yeah.
expect it to be flawless. But I do
No, it's
think
not
that
gonna be
voters deserve
flawless.
some confidence.
Somebody's
that their
dog is
vote-
going to vote, and then everyone's going to be in an uproar because a dog voted
Unless
or,
they
or a
voted for the
dead
right
person.
person.
Well, no, it's going to fit whatever their narrative is.
That's
But the
true.
fact is, there are what were the last time? 130 million votes in the
Something like
presidential
that.
election. I mean, yeah.
Well, and I know people here, we talk about voter apathy, especially in the city of Detroit.
Sure.
And this is a pivotal election, regardless of whether it's just politics or who we're putting in or who we are returning to that seat. But interestingly, our sitting Rashida Tlaib
Oh, what a mess.
has refused to endorse Biden, and people are not happy about it. She represents the 13th district, predominantly African-American district, and not resonating with the people that she has to count on for re-election.
Well, she claims that residents come up to her and say, I hear Joe Biden this, Joe Biden that. That's her quote. And this is a quote from her. I say, listen, do we need another 4 years of Trump? No. Then what I need you to do is to get out there and focus on that. Okay. Then why would you? Politics is a game. And this is what Democrats are terrible at. And it's tearing each other apart
But
and tearing the party apart.
You can't inject part of your platform to impeach Trump. I mean, it's not like we got 6 candidates. You got 2 choices.
Yeah, neither one's good.
And
Neither
so-
one lives in the district.
Neither one
either.
lives in the district, but at the same time, it to me sends a very concerning message that hasn't really resonated well with people. I mean, you've got some key African American business leaders, church leaders, community leaders, and political, influencers, if you will, that were looking for leadership. Well,
Rashida Tlaib's message about not endorsing Joe Biden doesn't get people excited. And you can say what you want about who the better candidate is. It's about getting people to vote. And you do that by getting them fired up to vote. And you look at any poll about how excited you are about your candidate, Trump or Biden, and Trump's way ahead. His people will go out and vote. So if you're going to be apathetic about your candidate, then don't expect people to go out and vote. And I know this election's important for Rashida to maintain her position, but people really get out and vote when there's a presidential vote. They're not the down ballot stuff starts at the top. That's why it's down
pandemic,
ballot.
and I don't necessarily think we're going to be out of the pandemic.
No, of course not.
By then.
But what I mean is people aren't going to be terribly excited to go vote for their rep to win. It starts at the top. That's why it's called down ballot. So you got to get people excited. She's just, it's this posturing with the whole, what do they call themselves, the squad?
Well, I thought they were kind of disbanded a little bit.
By who, themselves?
No, I thought, didn't Pelosi say something about the squad? And she was like, not, okay.
The problem is,
hey, we're talking politics, Mark. Don't get
tied. She's going to be tied with AOC and Omar, regardless of who disbands them.
Yeah.
And if you want to win or you want your party to win, you need to show a little more unity, whether or not you agree with it or not. And that is one thing Republicans do very, very well.
That's true, and that is that's what got Trump elected the first time, because people were not feeling Hillary, and they did not get out and vote.
Exactly,
but she didn't resonate.
You see the same thing going on right now. It's just the hatred for Trump is more.
But like you said about the Democrats too, I mean, people have to they got to get together. Like, you can't just take any of your voter base for granted. you've got to be able to connect with them. And people want to start to feel, I believe, that you have some degree of representation of who they are and what their interests are. I don't know. That's just me. But I also want to tell everybody, too, you got to keep an eye on the mayor's race next year. Don't forget about that.
Tell me about it. I don't even know what's going on.
Everybody is thinking and gearing up their candidacy quietly right now. I don't think anybody's formally announced against Duggan.
Yeah. Who have you heard? Have you heard any interesting names?
Well,
you're always in the know.
Yeah, but I'm going to wait until they
sound
say.
like they're terribly interesting.
Well, I just, again, I want to feel like a person is running for that office for the right reason. You talked about earlier, people like
themselves. It's
they
always
like
for
clout
themselves.
and clicks, and that's not what works. But this is the thing. Let's just create the scenario, Mark. So, undercurrent conversations say that Mike Duggan wants to go if Biden wins. He wants out. He'll take, whether or not he can get in the White House or not, but he wants out. So let's say Biden wins. Mm-hmm. Duggan is out. That would mean that Brenda Jones would then become the mayor. Mm-hmm. Now, she's running against Rashida.
Yeah.
What if she wins? Then that means that Mary Sheffield is now the mayor. If, in fact, Biden wins and Duggan is out, regardless of whether it's Brenda, if she wins or if she doesn't win and she stays, somebody may run against a woman incumbent because they will be in office for, 7-8 months before that election. Well, I'm just saying, think of all the moving pieces. That's all.
Always. Will anything change, though?
No. I just thought it sounded good.
It does, but the machine just keeps moving.
And it keeps rolling over people. That's the thing.
Sure.
We're not dealing with the pension obligation payment. We're not looking at paying our police officers. They're still going to be without fair compensation. And now the mayor has this proposal in. For me, in is no. It's another $250 million bond proposal for the same issue that's been dangled, in front of Detroit residents for the longest. Charlie has his own take on it. I'm going to wait until he comes back to share about that proposal. But speaking of police.
Yeah, the fatally shot the third person in 3 weeks. The story is insane. I don't think you're going to see any protests over this one. Was it at Grand River? Why does it always seem like it's at Grand River? Grand River.
It's because it's the West
road.
Side, Mark.
It's a big road, too. Grand River and Myers.
West Side.
A guy standing in the road wielding a sword.
A sword?
A sword. I think
That's
I
different.
read that it was a 3-foot sword, and the cops told him to drop it. He came at him, threw a dagger.
Oh, wow.
Hit one of the policemen in the face.
That's not cool.
Caught him. Shot him with a taser. Didn't stop him. I mean,
Okay,
sounds
so
like
they
the guy's
went through
on something.
Right.
Yeah, no, it seems very, by the book, but it just illustrates to me what an insane job policing is.
But
It's
this is the
nuts.
other thing. We talked to, remember the guy out of New York that we spoke to last week?
Yes,
and
Eugene.
Eugene. And he said that, certainly triaging calls and making sure that police officers are armed or accompanied by a second layer of behavioral health or social services, because not everybody is a criminal. Now, maybe it would work in that instance, maybe not. But you have a lot of people that are out here that have mental health or social service needs.
The thing I forgot about this shooting and this guy is that he then tried to get in one of the cop cars.
Okay, well then forget it. I'm sorry.
And a Good Samaritan jumped up, or didn't jump up. They were in their car, and they blocked the squad car, so he couldn't go anywhere.
But see, that speaks to me the relationship that Detroit police have with the community here. I saw some people and they were calling for the resignation of Chief Craig. Like, who are those people? They don't look like they live here. Like, where are they from? Because when I hear people in the community, they like what the chief is doing. They support the police. I mean, they just do. I mean, even some of your community activists, that's not how they feel.
He seems to be doing a phenomenal job.
Well, he's doing what he can do with what he has. And I've
Sure.
always said that. And I tell Charlie, Charlie, when he would criticize him sometimes, he has the utmost respect for the chief and certainly the police. But, I would say that falls in the lap of the mayor in terms of allocating resources to make sure that the chief and the officers can do what they can do. They got a tough job.
I just feel there's always going to be critics out there for their own benefit to criticize whoever the police chief is and whatever the job is that's being done.
Yeah, that's true. But,
It fits what they want to do and what they want to get in.
So let me put our license plate numbers out there and put them on the no pull over list. So I got to ask you this, Mark. I know we're almost running out of time,
Sure.
but before we do, how are you managing during the COVID crisis? I mean, I heard you say you don't go out.
Going insane.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting, like, people have masks on, and it's it's strange.
I'm fortunate because I've been working 6 days a week, so I do get to be out and live some sort of normalcy. It hasn't changed much. Where it sucks is having little kids,
right?
And wanting them to be around other little kids, and now the decision about school comes up, and it's like,
yeah. Now, what's going to happen with that?
I
thought you had the answer, Mark. Come on, what's going to happen?
I don't have the answer.
Should kids go back to school? I mean, kids are naturally social and pretty messy, just in general. So should they go back to school? Are they bringing it home? Are they taking it to school from home?
There's not enough information on it, but my kids are under 10, and under 10 they don't spread it as much, but it's not necessarily about the kids as it is there's no air circulation in an old school building. There's no air conditioning or anything.
So if school
like that.
opens, are you going to let your kids go back to school?
I don't know.
You don't know. That's fair enough.
And mainly because, like I said before, I'm around elderly people.
Right.
And you know what? I'm not a picture of health.
Well, somebody said,
I get it. I'm cooked.
Jay on Facebook, and guys, usually I read the Facebook comments because Charlie is leading the show, but I can't read them all. But I do see that Jay says Mark always has the answer. So.
No. I always have an answer. I don't know if it's right. Usually, most of the time, it's wrong. So I'm told. So.
But I certainly do. I like the fact that Dr. Vitti is speaking up.
Yeah.
He has not been passive on this, and I do think. And he's going against the grain because I think he's really trying to put together the best for the students, the teachers, the
Sure.
staff. We've had the opportunity to talk to him here on the show before, and I just like the fact that he's not passive about this. He is actively engaged and responsive to try to get to a better place for everybody.
When you're living inside the scientific method with things changing all the time, I think more information is better, even if that information can be in conflict with each other. So you just want to hear from people.
Yeah,
and like you said before, you want a leader.
Well, you're right. Well, I think we got a leader in the chief. We got a leader in Dr. Vitti. We got a leader in Charlie LeDuff.
Yeah.
So we're in good hands.
I like it.
Okay.
And now I have Charlie's song queued up.
All right. Well, I want to.
Do we miss anything today?
I don't think we missed anything other than Charlie.
Is anybody still listening to us?
Yes, people are still listening. We've
Everyone there still?
Yeah, people are still there. And, of course, you can go to what's the store to get the shirt?
DrewandMikeStore.com. You can get the Fix the Shit shirt. You can get the No Bullshit News with Charlie LeDuff shirt, which I'm showing off right now on Facebook. And, lots of fun stuff there.
And what you can also do is go to the NoBSNewsHour.com, and you can subscribe and download for you that maybe just for those of you that are just tuning in. If you missed our interview with John James earlier today, you can check out, we're on Facebook Live. You can also start that over and listen. And hopefully you came away smarter. As Charlie says, remember to love one another. We certainly love and appreciate you. Mark, love you. Charlie, love you. And until next time.
Don't forget your wallet.
Left my wallet in El Segundo. Left my wallet in El Segundo. Left my wallet in El Segundo. I gotta get it. I got to get it. I left my wallet in El Segundo. Left my wallet in El Segundo. Left my wallet in El Segundo. I gotta get it. I got to get it. My mother went away for a month-long trip, hunting some friends on an ocean liner ship. She made a big mistake by leaving me home. I had to roam, so I picked up the phone. Got Ollie up to see what was going down. Told him I'd pick him up so we could drive around. Took the Dodge Dart, a 74. My mother left the yard, but I needed one more. Shaheed had me covered with 100 greenbacks. So we left Brooklyn and we made big tracks. Drove down the belt, got on the conduit. Came to a toll, we paid and went through it. Had no destination, we was on a quest. I laid in the back so he can get rest. Drove down the road for 2 days and a half. The sun had just risen on a dusty path. Just then a figure had caught my eye. A mirror for Sombrero who was 4 feet high. I pulled over to ask where he was at. His index finger, he tipped off his hat. El Segundo, he said, my name is Pedro. If you need directions, I'll tell you pronto. Need a civilization, some sort of reservation. He said a mile south, there's a fast food station. Thanks to y'all, as I started the motor, Ali said,
damn, Tip, what did you drive so far for?
Well, describe to me what the wallet looks like. Anyway, a gas station we passed. We got gas and went on to get grub. It was a nice little pub in the middle of nowhere. Anywhere would have been better. I ordered enchiladas and I ate them. Ali had the fruit punch. When we finished, we thought for ways to get back. I had a hunch. Ali said, pay for lunch. So I did it. Pulled out the wallet and I saw this wicked, beautiful lady. She was a waitress there. Put the wallet down and stared to put me back into reality. Here's Shaheed.
Yo, Tip, man, you got what you need?
I checked for keys and started to step. What do you know? My wallet I forget. Yo, it was a brown wallet. Had props numbers. Had my Jimmy hats. I gotta get it, man. Lord have mercy. The heat that got hotter. Ali starts to curse me. I feel bad, but he makes me feel badder. Chit chatter. Car starts to scatter. Break it on out. We was northeast bound. Jetting on down at the speed of sound. 3 days coming and 3 more going. We get back and there was no slack. 490 Madison, we're here, Shy. He said, alright, Chip, see you tomorrow. Thinking about the past week, the last week. Hands go in my pocket, I can't speak. Hop in the car and torpedo to the shack. Shaheed, we gotta go back. When he said why, I said we gotta go. Cause I left my wallet in El Segundo.